banger? Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and TradeFly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Piper Academy. We got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about Cardano, possibility of a 2,000% pump. Plus, on the other side of that coin, ADA dropping out of its positioning and losing popularity on CoinGecko and on the market cap. Guys, we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at Apple. We're going to be taking a look at where Bitcoin could be heading next. All that and a whole lot more today on Piper Academy, guys. Classes in session. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is Piper Academy. We come at you every Monday through Friday at 9:30. Bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. I'm coming at you live down here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, still enjoying the vacation. It's been great down here, enjoying the weather, enjoying the beach, enjoying the food, enjoying the shopping. Just great time overall. But we got a lot of news packed in today. We're going to be doing a lot of news discussion between me and my co-host. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring these guys up. It's TradeFly and the OC guy. What's up, fellas? You are muted.
There it is.
He's
Sorry
like,
about that.
It's
because I was sitting in the background, I was drinking, I was eating, just getting after it. Here's our old shill for Legendary Aviation Coffee, because it is the best coffee, bougie. So you can find that down in the link. But anyways, hey,
right over
great to be with you guys today. Super excited to mix it up with you in chat. Matter of fact, I'm going to get on over to the chat, start making this kind of a daily routine for me. So to the early risers, Ninja, Glock, Alex, Crypto, my twin, what's up, brother? Always appreciate you being in here. French Toaster, what's going on? Justin Eubanks, Indie Rock Crypto. Let's see, who else? I got Alexandra G, best moderator in the biz. OC guy, hey, what's up, babe? You're in there. Crux of Crypto, doing his work in the background. My man, I'm telling you, I'm going to get you on here. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. I'm going to just drag you. And then Eric Wallen.
I might have a special announcement about that.
Okay, right on. And then Trade Intuition, Joe. How you doing? Hey, I don't know if you noticed it, but audio sounds a little bit strange on my side right now.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys hear that. Let us know in the chat as well.
Yeah, I'm having that too on my end, but we're going to make the show happen. It's Friday, so let's get into this. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Love having you all here. But hey, Thursday, I'm going to be traveling back stateside. I am not going to be on the show on Thursday. Neither is OC Guy. He's got an engagement that's going to pull him away. So it would look like TradeFly with one solo screen here doing this show. While we have Alex O in the chat right now, Alex, are you available next Thursday to do some twin TA with your twin over here, TradeFly? That's one question. And the second one is an announcement. You will be joined for news and fundamental chat with Crux of Crypto next Thursday live on the stream. So there you go. Yeah, you got a full show, bro. Let's go ahead and get into what we're seeing here today, guys. Right off the bat, jump over to my screen and let's get this thing started, guys. Greed. We are at greed. We have lost extreme greed. We are now at greed, sitting at 75 on the Fear and Greed Index today, guys. Jumping over into the charts, looking at the daily. Phantom up 13.1%. ICP, which we got a little news about ICP. TradeFly is going to be covering here in a minute, up 7.5%. RUNE coined up 5.1. We got Aptos up 6.9. Ton up 3.2. Stacks sitting down here at about 1.1% up a little bit. Arweave up 3.7. A lot of red on here today. Let's jump down here and see what we're seeing. Bitcoin on the daily down 5.2%. Ethereum down 4.3%. By the way, it's not just crypto. It looks like a lot of the TradeFi markets opened up in the red today also. We did have Jerome Powell speaking about 35 minutes ago. So I think that might have been cause for a little bit of the shakeup. But yeah, all of the markets down today, not just crypto. So breathe easy on that. When I see the markets moving together and it's not just crypto, then it's a cycle. It's cycle norm. Solana down a whopping 9.2% on the daily right here. We do have XRP down about a little bit, about 0.7%. Cardano down 2.8%, and Doge down 1.5%. These altcoins, for the most part, besides Solana, not dropping as much as Bitcoin and Ethereum today. They're actually holding up a little bit better. That's a little scary if you ask me. Hey, Bitcoin dominance, altcoin dominance. There you go. Yeah, that's what we're looking at today on that top 20 there, guys. Let's jump over real fast. Check out the liquidations for the day. Zoom it in here. Zoom. Past 24 hours, 74,312 traders were liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $199, $199 million, I should say. $1 million there. I need to put that in there. Largest single liquidation happened on OKX. It was ETH. Valued at 1.7 million. So one of our smaller ones that we normally see there. I want to jump into some news real fast, guys. We're going to talk about this. This is kind of cool. If you guys don't know what ENS is, there's actually a token for this, and it is how you can get your own domain name on the ETH network. So, for example, like if TradeFly was to do it, he'd be tradefly.eth, right? And then you can use that name, and it links directly to a wallet, and you can send ETH to that individual, right? So Google has integrated the Ethereum naming service data in searches. So now they have not yet announced this integration, but search results now display the blockchain data. So they haven't officially came out and said it. But if you go in and put in like google.eth or whoever, you will be able to actually go in and see this. Check this out. You can actually see their ETH balance on there on the blockchain. And this is integrated into X a while ago, but now it is now also on Google. So it's pretty cool that ENS is now getting adopted by some of the big search engines, and domain names like Walmart.eth or Google.eth, stuff like that, or even individuals. You can just search it up, see the blockchain now. So it's pretty cool. Just wanted to share that little tidbit of adoption there. It's pretty neat. Let's get into some headline news today, guys. Cardano, out of the top 10, can it regain its position in the blockchain ecosystem? Cardano has been taking a beating, guys. It's in the 13th position for the most popular. And if I jump over here and show that, which one is it? I think it's here. No, it is in my X. Let's jump over to X. It is in my X marks the spot. I saved it here. Right there. There we go. So you can look over here to the right here, and you can see the 20 most popular blockchain ecosystems on CoinGecko. Cardano sitting all the way down at number 13 now. It is sliding down that chart. Why does that matter? Well, because that means that it's just people are steering away from it because it's had such a big hit on that drop on that price action negativity slide that it's had there. But I want to talk about blood in the streets with Cardano, because if it's down that much and people are running away from it that hard, would that not be the time to buy if this article had any validity, guys? Cardano eyes explosive 2,000% bull run targeting $12, which would quadruple 4x its previous all-time high. Cardano currently positioned as the 9th largest cryptocurrency. If you actually look on here, it's slid down one, like I said. Actually, is it 8 now on here? Okay, it just went back up. There you go. Maybe it's happening as we speak. But on the crypto, on the CoinGecko, it's sitting down at 10. So a lot of movement on that token. But I do want to point out on this that the bullish momentum building for ADA, this crypto analyst named Trendwriter shared his insights on social media platform X, highlighted ADA's market shift from bearish to bullish trends. He used some algo indicator, but he looked at what it did last time, that it had this flippening of this algo master moving average, they call it. And he looked at the previous action on it. And when it went up to $3.16, it was over a 2,000% move. A similar uptrend would take ADA past the $1 mark. And if that 2,000% move could push ADA's native token to reach $12.60. Let's jump back over to TriCam. Let's talk about this, because right now we're seeing blood in the streets with Cardano. ADA is bleeding off. Typically, that's when you want to move into stuff, is when you get blood in the streets, right? So you get in there, you grab up those things when everyone's running away from it. You go in and grab it. That typically sets people up really well for a run on that token. So if we were to see a 2,000% potential on ADA, would now not be the time to buy? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Talk in the chat too. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Is now the time to pick up ADA when everyone's running away from it? Popularity dropping down to 13. So we'll go with
Eric Wallen
TradeFly.
didn't hold
TradeFly,
back
we
at all,
talked
man.
about this. No, he didn't. He said that's a
Yeah,
BS
he said,
news article. I saw it.
yeah, he, straight to the chase, or straight to the point. So yeah, man, we talked a little bit about a pre-show, and this is my concern with the article, because what you're saying in terms of what you're showing us is a little contradictory to what the article is saying. And we kind of talked about it, blood in the streets, right? If we're talking about the overall total market of crypto, there's blood in the streets. Cool, I get it, but you would want to see ADA or Cardano kind of moving up the list, not down the list in terms of popularity, user, like how much market share it has, how many people are actually using it. Those are the things that you want to start to look for. So it's kind of going inverse of what I would be looking for to have that massive move up personally. So I'd say there'd be a little concern there. I'd say that article is a little overly bullish in my eyes. Let's just get back to the all-time highs. But if you want to say, can you invest in Cardano? Absolutely, you could, because you can't tell me you don't think it's going to go up to $1, right? That dollar area was a huge area of support and resistance for Cardano in the last bull run. So it stayed at $1 for a long time before it made that move up to 3. So could it go up there, at least test that area as resistance again? Sure. Like I don't see that not happening. Cardano is not just falling off the map, but it is slowly pulling back. There's other projects, there's other tokens that are getting a lot more hype, and people are just flocking into those. And that's just kind of my personal view on it.
Yeah. OC, what's your thoughts, brother?
I believe that sorry for that. I believe that right now it's the time to start looking at Bitcoin, because everything is bleeding, right? And you're right. When everything is red, it's time to start looking at what is red, and also for big and huge supports. For me right now, I would say that if you have a DCA strategy with ADA, those will be a good sort of like good entry spot. I will be calling more likely to be 56 cents or something like that, or even after breaking above the dynamic reactor around 70 cents. Somewhere around this area, on this oscillating area, will be a good opportunity to buy. And also, as we may be seeing Bitcoin dropping, that's why I said it's good to see Bitcoin, because we already have had a 20% drop, and maybe we could be seeing a 30% drop, and that will get us maybe I don't know, somewhere around a 53-cent Cardano. That will be maybe almost the absolute bottom. So if you only have one shot, maybe divide that shot in between 1 or 2 entries, and that way you can always average either down or slightly up your entry, but you will not be stuck within one entry right there. But yeah, I believe that, as you mentioned, only jumping on red days, but also along with big supports.
Nice.
Hey, so
yeah,
one of the things
go
I'm
over my
seeing in
screen.
the
Oh, go ahead, TradeFly.
oh, go ahead. Yeah, I was just gonna look. I was looking at the chat, and they're talking about Crux is talking about a little bit of FUD. It doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, and it might kind of second that. And I just want you to understand, like, from my perspective of what I'm talking about here is not FUD. Like, it's literally like looking at the metrics. It's falling out. Remember, Cardano was top 3 throughout almost the entirety of the bull run last time, right? Last bull run, it was like number 3, if I remember correctly, 3, 4, like almost the entire time. And now we're seeing it at 8, 9, like it's falling out of the top 10. So just understand that you look at this from a marketing perspective, look at it just from a pure, like, how many people are interested in actually using this ecosystem. That's kind of my take and my look at it. I will say that the part of the article that this is trying to say, right? What is the point? What is the context of this article? It's saying it's due for explosive growth. Well, if I'm going to look for something for explosive growth, I'm not going to look at something that's trending out of the top 10. I'm going to be looking for something that's trending into the top 10. That's where I would be looking to get those exponential gains. That's kind of my point.
Okay. Nope, that's a valid point too. Jump over to my screen real fast, guys. If you guys have not seen this video yet, check out Beyond the Hype. exploring Cardano price analysis with the GPA breakdown. That was Crux's curriculum that he did 13 days ago. You guys go check that video out. 17 minutes, 40 seconds long. A lot of good information in there on Cardano. So let's go ahead and jump into the charts. Let's talk about Bitcoin for a minute here. Guys, Bitcoin's selling off right now. I said that we were creating this little head and shoulder pattern, inverse head and shoulders yesterday, and that we would likely have a pullback. And that is literally what happened. So if anyone was doing that little short scalp on that pullback, congratulations to you. I had to move the shoulder down a little bit because I thought we would come down and hold the dynamic reactor. We did here for a little bit and then bounce back up before we came in even further. So we have not done a correction of the trend. We are still creating lower highs, and potentially if this was to come down and create a lower low, that would invalidate, I should say, this entire inverse head and shoulder, because you cannot have a shoulder that is lower than the head. So we're going to be watching this closely today, see what this comes down to. I'm going to go ahead and say that, oh, no, don't pull that one. Don't do that one, dude. Can I get my point there? There we go. I'm going to say this is probably going to come down and hit in the range here of that delta median. I'm going to be watching for support right there. Excuse me, on that blue line, that is going to be our delta median of our predictive ranges, and that would still be a valid inverse head and shoulders pattern. So I'll be watching that level coming in right now in Bitcoin at about $63,000. We'll call it 62,955 on the exact number, but 63K is going to be right there in that vicinity too. So watch for that. That would still be a valid inverse head and shoulders pattern, but right now we do have a down flip on the ribbon. It is coming in for that zero line right now, so this would be a good level for us to get a zero line bounce and get a bounce off of that delta median before we come back up. We do have a big candle on the RSI primed Heikin-Ashi though, guys. So this continuing to push down here, if we get down here and get a couple of candles, this would push us back down to the 30% range. Last time we hit that range down there, well, that led to this whole move up here. So that's what I'm going to be watching on Bitcoin. I do want to talk about one thing on Bitcoin that I want to show you guys. Let me jump back over to here, and then let me get back over to here. Guys, Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF experienced $350 million of outflows yesterday. So Grayscale is still selling off a lot of Bitcoin. It's been a strong outflow from Grayscale produce this week. And it says that Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balkunis believes that the outflows could be over soon. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, as TradeFly said earlier, how do we know that, though? How does he know that it's almost over? Is it like, does he have like the scale? Like they're almost out of Bitcoin to sell. No, they still have a ton of Bitcoin they can sell off. And that's a very valid point that TradeFly made on that. But let's talk about this for a second on TriCam. And then I want to show you guys a little tidbit of info on Bitcoin that I had talked about previously. And I showed you some stuff from Rect Capital. He did a little bit more of a breakdown on some PI Cycle tops for us. So TradeFly, let's talk about this outflow. Do you think it's slowing down? Is it ready to be over? Or is Grayscale going to continue to dump on us like they've been doing for the past week?
So I'll say, like, I don't know, right? And that's the question I was asking before. What's his basis of saying this is almost over? Now, one thing that's a very, very important subject that a lot of people aren't talking about with GBTC in particular is that, remember, they had an ETF before anyone else had an ETF, even though it was not spot Bitcoin. They ended up transferring those over to spot Bitcoin once the ETFs got approved. So understand that a lot of people were front running GBTC a long time ago. I made a video about it, I think over a year ago, saying that there was a discrepancy between where the price was at for the ETF and where it correlated to the price of Bitcoin. And so people played that almost, I don't know what they're calling it, maybe like an arbitrage or something like that. And then once the Bitcoin made its move up, it started catching up. And then once the ETF got approved, it just exploded. But all of those people got converted that were in there front running this. So understand that like the sell-off for GBTC in particular, it does make a little bit of sense, especially when it went to an all-time high. People are now cashing in because they were buying that at like, I think it was like $8 a share or something like that. So understand, I mean, those people made 500% returns in like a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, this makes
crazy.
sense.
OC, thoughts?
Well, talking about this, I mean, I'm very in line with what TradeFly, sorry, it's saying. In fact, we got a trend line right here that it's a funny. Yeah, that was still looking at the trend line. I have my charts. That we are basically getting to, which is a neckline or a possible head and shoulders that we are forming. That is a very dangerous scenario, and breaking that line will not only confirm the theory of trade flight, which is not a theory because we've been seeing this happening, right? But a consolidation of the reaction of this chain of events, right? What I would like to see is Bitcoin handling the other way, basically ranging, because ranging is almost equal as retracing, right? So if we can hold this area, as long as we don't go lower than, I don't know, 52 or 53, 54. But I'm not saying that we're going to get there, because getting there will be the completion, again, of what TradeFly, of the series of events that TradeFly it's talking about. But I'd rather see it hovering around 60K, from 68 to 60 for a little while, and then hitting the halving event. Hitting the halving event, I wouldn't care going as low as 52 again and not losing 52, because that would be just a liquidity grab for a healthy move into the upside, right? So far, I mean, the pullback that I've been preaching about for so long, it's been happening. I've been trying to buy deep. I do have a strategy. And yeah, I mean, also, I do believe that TradeFly has a very, very, very strong and valid point there.
All right, awesome. Let's jump over to my screen. I've got this PI Cycle chart up, and I just dropped a link to this down in the chat for anybody that wants to go check this out. It's lookintobitcoin.com, and they have the PI Cycle on here. The next point that we're going to talk about is the PI Cycle. So I have talked about the previous all-time high breaks, when we break previous all-time highs, and how that price next all-time high is within 343, 350 days. And I've talked about, right now I'm looking at like mid-February being the top of this bull run. And I know that is crazy against what everyone thinks, to include Crux, because everyone wants to say that quarter three, late quarter three, early quarter four. I know that has been the norm, but guys, this has been the norm also. And so I've been talking about this. I talked about it on Infinite Crypto's Bitcoin prediction video. What I want to point out to you is I had talked about Rect Capital previously, had now jumped on this also, and he had put out a video earlier this week talking about that he saw that too, where when you break the previous all-time high, there's a set time to the next all-time high. And he's looking at the PI Cycle chart right now also. And there's some interesting things on the PI Cycle. If you guys don't know what it is, whenever this has crossed, and I'll just give you a quick example here. We'll jump in here and look at this. Whenever the PI Cycle crosses, it's typically the top when it crosses, okay? So he went a little bit further, and he did in a video, and I've got a link in the description below for this video that Rect Capital did. But he did a close-up of the PI Cycle top indicator, and then he did some projections on these trend lines. Guys, they end up on the current projection, they end up crossing around January 6th on here, up to, I think it was like February 1st. So even the PI Cycle is starting to lean in on this, and I hate to say that this would be the case. I really want like quarter three, 2025, but we can't deny other data that would be called bias confirmation if you only looked at what fit your scenario, fit your narrative. And if the narrative that I originally said was end of quarter three, beginning of quarter four, versus what I'm seeing with other data, then I would not be a good analyst, and the Army would come and whack me for 22 years of being a horrible analyst, and they taught me nothing. So let's jump back to TriCam. Guys, before we get into all the TA, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this, because I know that quarter three, like August to October after the halving, has been that 18-month run. I don't see it in the charts this cycle. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking on this, and then we'll get into some TA on the Bitcoin and then alts from here. So, OC, you can go first.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So I think he's off by 300,000. That's it. I'm just kidding.
He's off on the price. Well, the price on this, to be fair, the price on this would be about $150,000 Bitcoin. So
Yeah, that's why I'm saying he might be just up by 250 or 300, depending what the market does. But I'm just kidding. I mean, of course, this is a side way for my prediction that my analogy, my process of analogy gave me a 500,000 Bitcoin, right? Again, I'm gonna be repeating with the same thing that I said on the video, not because my prediction gets all the way there. I'm not gonna be just holding or not reacting for whatever the market does. Although I do have a point that he might not be considering. And again, I don't want to call him wrong or anything because, he might be even a more experienced analyst than I am, right? But the thing is that if we look at what have happened with the assets, whether have the ETF, and we start usually breaking those metrics, right? And usually we overextend a little bit. So I don't think that we're going to get all the way to, just to 140, 150 out of his PI cycle. I believe that, yes, we're going to be having that PI cycle and maybe a kind of like a rebound out of or like opening back and then a crossover and get somewhere around 300,000 Bitcoin thing. I don't believe that we're going to get all the way to up to 500,000. Hopefully we do. But again, I believe it's looking intimidating. You looking down to me.
I'm looking at the chat, bro.
Yeah, I know. I just realized it. But yeah, I just wanted to throw in the ETF situation and all the institutional money. That at the end it is most of the money, I would say, or most of that volatile money, it comes from retail getting the ETF, trying to mimic whales. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a shout out to EDPT. He said ADA is the king. The problem is FUD. And he's absolutely right. There is so much FUD on ADA right now. That's why we did the breakdown video on it. And that's why I put on the headline that could make millionaires. Because I do have a lot of ADA for transparency purposes. And a $12 ADA would give me a ton of money. Would make me a millionaire, but it would be pretty darn close. That's how much ADA I have. So, yeah, absolutely. No hacks, no downtime, cheap, fast review. Peer-reviewed, I think he was saying there, TVL increase. Yeah, absolutely, man. We love Cardano over here, and hadn't seen you in the chat, so I just wanted to, give him a shout-out. So, yeah, we're ADA fans here.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I gift my mom ADA, like, for birthdays and Christmas. So, like, she has a bigger bag than I do. So just so you guys understand and are clear here, like, I don't dislike ADA. I just think, like, marketing wise, because my degree is IT management, so half of it is business, and marketing is really big. I think ADA is just losing that share right now, the perception of the general public, and that's a big thing, and I take that into consideration when we're talking about something in a 2,000%, increase. Like, that's something I think about. So.
Absolutely. And I to wrap up what I just went over on the previous all-time high being broken, the timeline to the next all-time high. If Bitcoin doesn't have its parabolic run for that 18-month window like it typically does, then we may not see those 2,000% run-ups on Cardano. So Bitcoin, it is the center of gravity. It is the cog that dictates what happens with the rest of the crypto market. So let's go ahead and jump over to you. We'll go with OC first.
TA time?
OC, go ahead. It's TA time, fellas. Let's go. OC, go ahead and bring up your chart. I know you want to talk about your what you're seeing on Bitcoin. There it is. And then start going to an altcoin after that. And let's start getting into some of these alts. I want to check out ENS today, Ethereum naming system. And then I also want to check out Cardano for sure. So let's go ahead and take a look at what you got there.
Absolutely. This is the trend line that I was talking about. This is a possible head and shoulders that we are looking at. We might be able to see it much better on the daily. or even the 12 hours, I would say. What is it, 12 hours? There we go. Where we can see the left shoulder, head, and then the right shoulder. We have the cricket bottom. And then if we start losing this area, you see again that this is the next area that I'm going to be looking at, not before breaking the dynamic reactor. So again, my first area of support will be somewhere around 58.60 for a possible fake out and continuation to the upside. And then if everything goes wrong, because look at that, we are flipping down, right? I will be calling somewhere around 53, 50, 51 areas. I already have some interest there. I'm not saying that we're going to get there. What I'm saying is that I'm going to get prepared. Very quick on EGLD. Yesterday we were talking about this inverse rooftop lines that I have going on. Basically, we are confirming a breakout through those rooftops. Remember that this line, it is suggested. So why? Because we no longer have, or we didn't have a secondary bounce, but we have a big support. If I start pulling out down here, my support and resistance, my next big support, it's all the way back down here at 54. $54. So just be careful on EGLD because we are getting within a high order block and we could be retracing at half of it. So again, I'll be looking for, as is planned, FOR, flip of the ribbon, which by the way looks like to be right on spot on this area. So FOR on big support, that will be for me a next entry. So yeah, turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. TradeFly, what you got for us, bro?
Cool. I'll take a quick look at the liquidity heat map. This one will be quick because not a whole lot to really look at. You can see there was a hot spot here at about 64.4. They went ahead and cleared that out already. And we've talked about quite a few times already, a little bit further down. I'm not going to bring it up, but at about 50,500 or so, there's a really big hot spot. But honestly, there's not a lot to be really concerned with. So I think we have freedom of movement right now. I think really TA is going to be a bigger factor. But just looking at the trend overall, it's flipped, at least on the 4 hour. Okay, we can now see a series of lower highs. That's not good. You're starting to see the moving averages roll over. So the 20s crossing, the 50s crossing, the 100, so everything is crossing. The dynamic reactor, we got that little indication of red, and then it looks like it's going red again. So, that's not really great signs. And, as you get in a bullish trend, you see how it's respecting these moving averages and kind of riding them up. This is one of the reasons I love moving averages. Look at it. It just rode the 20 all the way up. Well, now look, it's riding the 20 down. Now we had that pump up off of the FOMC, and I just didn't understand it. And I was asking that in the chat. I was like, I don't understand. Like, did Powell say something during the conference that was bullish for crypto? I don't think that he did. So why do we have this 10% move? Well, sure enough, it came right up to the moving averages. And I talked about this in the Discord as well. So it's free, guys. Get over there because we do talk about things like this and you can get some real good information, especially if you're doing intraday or scalp trades. So it rejected off of that. And now it's coming all the way down to the 200. This is where we found support before. So when we had the pullback before FOMC is the 200-day moving average on the 4 hour chart. This is where it found some support. Now that did correlate with another area of support here, but now we have this higher area, right? So we have this area that was resistance correlating to the 200-day. So we potentially could find some support here. That is maybe an opportunity right here in this area at about 63,000 or so. But we're on the bottom side of the dynamic reactor, and for me, that's kind of scary. So be careful here. We're hoping for some support. And then if you're looking here, one of the big indicators that I've been, really, really liking on the prime oscillator is this peak seeker. All right. So these blue dots right here, all right, they're pretty good. They play out a lot. So you can see it here, printed here. We had a pullback, printed here. We had a bounce up. Now it printed here and we had a pullback. So these things are pretty diddly. And the last one, this is probably one of the best ones that really drew my attention in, is right here. So it's showing you this is some divergence. That's what the green is here. But it prints, and then look at the run up it had after it printed. And it didn't print again, didn't bite off. And then it finally bites off here. So, these indicators, this package with Chart Prime, very, very powerful. And I am starting to love these little blue dots, the peak seekers. But that's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin right now. We are at an area of potential support. It could pull back a little bit further, but
I want
Sorry,
to
was someone trying
point
to
out
talk?
that is actually that's actually the 200 4-hour. You're on chart with that one right now, bro.
Yeah, I said 4 hour.
Yeah, you said daily at one time point. I want to make sure that everyone knows that that's the 4-hour, not the daily.
I may have said 200-day SMA. Sorry about that, but I am on the 4 hour. Yes. Sorry about that.
4-hour
200
chart.
SMA on the 4 hour.
No worries.
Gotcha.
I know you
Yep.
know what you were saying.
Thanks
I
for the
just wanted
clip.
to make sure that people understood what they were hearing.
Yeah. So yeah, we could find a little
'cause,
support here,
Yeah, absolutely.
but the trend is down and
absolutely
right.
we could. Well, something that if you could jump over to my chart, because I was just looking at moving averages also, and on the daily moving average for the 50, which is a green line running up here, is actually coming in right at the golden pocket also. So if we do break again, if we're the level I just gave you guys a minute ago, when I said watch for that $63,000 test, well, that would be that delta meeting that we just wicked down to while we were talking over here. But if you look at where we would come down to hit a daily moving average, it would be the 50 right down here in range of that $59,000 price point. Would also be the top of the golden pocket. That would invalidate, again, guys, it would invalidate that inverse head and shoulders pattern, because that would put your shoulder lower than your head, invalidating that inverse head and shoulders. So if we do not hold the $63,000 level, we've got to consider that we're coming down to the golden pocket in that 50-day exponential moving average there. So that is one point. And then another point on here is that we do have, if I pull over a fixed range volume profile on here, come here to me, right there. Fixed range volume profile, and we look at all of this data here, guys. We do have the value area low sitting right here at 62,270. That is going to be our last line of support before we head down to 59K. So just wanted to bring that in. You can look over here on the fixed range, and you'll see here, once we break that point, there's really nothing. It's just a fall for us. So that free fall motion looks like $59,000 Bitcoin would be in play, again, if we break that 62,300 range on the value area low. So that's what I got there for Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and points today. Let's get it going. See what you got for us, man.
Perfect. I got right here my prime screener. I've been following a couple of coins in here. Let me show you that a couple of the ones that are still bullish are PYTH, UTK, and also RUNE. So let me get started with PYTH, because I'm holding a bit back of PYTH right here. So let me turn this one off, and we are just about to be above the dynamic reactor, right? So we are about to hit it. We are pretty bullish still. We have a high consolidation, which is indicating me that we could be bouncing for a little bit, just like we did in here. But the only thing that I don't like is that we are below the zero line here, and we are aiming to go a little lower. So what could really happen here? I'm going to be throwing some couple of support and resistances, and based on those support and resistances, I'm going to be pairing the consolidation score and also my oscillator right down here. So the first thing I'm going to be drawing, it is a combination of support and resistances with liquidity zones and also my volume profile. So let me zoom out so I can have a little bit of a better look in here, and you can see, there we go, much better. So you can see that we have fairly large volume right here, and it is negative volume, but also we have a big support line. Once again, I believe that we could be having that fight between the support and the dynamic reactor also acting as support, and a little bit of that negative volume that we see. So this is the outcome between the positive and the negative volume, selling volume and buying volume. And at the end, we do have a little bit of more money pushing up for a little bit back to the upside, right? The only thing, again, I don't like it is the oscillator, because if we keep moving downwards in here, we're going to get drawn back down, and all the way down here, there's nothing really to hold that fall, and the next point will be at 0.68. Let me throw in a couple of more things in here. Let me just mark these areas right here, and also turn this one off and see the parity between my indicators. Remember, what I'm looking for at this point it is confluence. So I have another high order block in here, which maybe could getting me a stop before, maybe just wicking back down here and a fast recovery for maybe a dead cat bounce. But let's mark it and let's move to the next one. And right here, I do have a gray and once again a purple. So I will be looking for this retest. I believe that we're going to have a little bit of a ranging zone, but if we break the dynamic reactor, that's going to be my early notice that we're going to be getting somewhere around 74 cents. And for me, that will be my next holding back that I'm going to be getting on spot. But yeah, that's what I got on PYTH.
Awesome. TradeFly, what you got for us, bro?
Cool. Got a ICP up on the daily. Reason I pulled that up, I don't know if you guys heard about ICP. It's a pretty good project. I was following it a while ago, but it's kind of like tailed off of my radar. But it's coming back, and the reason it's coming back a little bit is because they are trying to get AI, or I think they successfully have gotten AI on the blockchain. So starting to make some waves here, starting to pick up a little bit of interest, we'll say. Did have a pretty big move up back in December of 23. And then it's just been on a nice trend up and right, setting a series of higher lows as well as higher highs. So you can see those two areas here. But where could we go? What are we looking for? I wish I was watching this, a few days ago, because there's a nice little area of interest here. It came down to an area that was support, came down to the 0.5 on the Fibonacci retracement, and it found support on the dynamic reactor. And we see that over and over again. But all of that, you come down and you see a reversing trend as well as one of OC's favorite things, right? You're seeing the flip of the ribbon and starting to bend back up and right on the prime oscillator. So, all good signs right here in this area. So we are finding support. It is now pushing up, but it's interacting with a bunch of the moving averages, right? So you can see moving averages, like they usually will give you some price action off of them, act as a little bit of resistance, act as a little bit of support. Now this is the daily, so I can say this is the 20 and the 50-day SMA and would be accurate. But we do have an area of resistance. So what you want to wait for here is that it breaks this area, especially too. It kind of lines up with the 236 that actually finds some resistance. So that means that this way that I have the Fibonacci retracement up is good, right? Because you're finding support and you're finding resistance along the lines that are actually being printed when you overlay the Fib tool here. So area of resistance here at about 13,978, we'll just call it 14. That's where you're going to find resistance. If it does pull back, you could look for a little bounce here. You want to see continued strength here on the prime oscillator going up and right, and then you might see a little something like this, and then continuation. Where would I be more excited about adding the bags, though, would be down in this area. This is where I would really look at about $10.50. I'd be more excited about adding to the bags here. But if you're doing an intraday scalping type trade, you could see a little pullback again. Look for strength here. You don't want to see this bend over. You actually want to see this continue to go up and right. So there's your high side at about 14, low side at about 10.5.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and jump over to my chart. I got ENS up here, and I also want to take a look at CASPA for Papa Gaming in the chat there. Crux replying back to him. I'm going to show him some CAS here. Taking a look here at ENS, guys. First off, we have a fixed range volume profile here. I'm looking on the daily right now. Let me pull this over to the 4 hour. Yep, there we go. Can you refill that fixed range volume profile for me? And we got it. We're live. All right, so we had a nice little rejection here off that point of control, guys. We are coming down right now to the value area low. Currently, the candle right now is touching that value area low or just a hair above it. And what I'm going to be watching here is this. If we break this value area low, currently at this price line of about $20.19 here, we do have a 100-day moving average down here. That's this yellow line. It's coming in right there at about $19.13. And then lastly, we have another range down here. It's going to be this little node of volume coming in at about $17.67. If we are to break this value area low, and we do not catch on the 100, which is where we tried to catch here, but we did wick down below it previously, which means it's not very strong for it to hold there. I would see us coming down to this lower trade band. This lower trade band here is from the predictive ranges from Chart Prime. There's our delta median. There is our top trade band, which you can see we had tested and rejected off of. So ENS looking a little weak right now. However, when I take a look at what we have going on over here, on the 4-hour, it does look like we've got more pullback coming here off of the Oscillator Pro, and we are starting to get this big red candle on the RSI Prime. Drop this over to the daily, and we've got a little different story going on here, guys. This looks like we could have a little more pullback based on the 4-hour, but we're about to get that flip of the ribbon from down low in the oscillator. We're starting to get green candles going here, and we did find, let me go ahead and turn on the Fibonacci's that I have here. We did find that we had support coming here off of the 382. So that is where we had punched down before. We hit the 236 on the wick, came back up. We got rejected on the 50. And now because of that, we're heading back down to the 382. If the 382 holds right here in line with that value area low, this is poised right now to give us another move to the upside. So everything is really hinging right now on that $20 range for ENS. So there is a little bit of TA on that. I wanted to pull it up and show you because there's a lot of action right now on Ethereum naming system. Or service, I should say, and that ENS is getting that move because Google has now listed ENS as a search. All of that fundamental analysis tied into some TAs there. So there you go. That's what we do here. Let's jump over and check out Casper real fast, and then we'll kick this back around to OC. Where is if you could pull up ADA, one of you guys pull up ADA, just to take another look at it and see how we're looking today on that. For the end of the show, because I'm going to be pulling up Bitcoin again at the end of the show today also. Casper, where are you? Why is it's way at the top for me. There we go. Let's take a look at Casper, guys. If you have been watching the show, we talked about the dynamic reactor down here being a good test spot. Got that bounce off of it, and we gave some entries for some dollar cost averaging or some trades if you wanted them, whichever you wanted to do. The three ranges that we called out were these three arrows here. And then I said, look, if we get right now, we had a good buy, and then we have another one here, and we did not hit all the way down to 11.2. We talked about this yesterday, but those two entries did give us a nice run up. What I want to point out now, though, is that we are getting a reversal print here on the chart prime indicators, and we are heading back down to the 7.618 right here. Also lining up perfectly right now with that 4-hour dynamic reactor coming right there across the top of it. So be watching for $14.05 for another entry on Casper right now. If it breaks this and it comes back, hits this 50-day moving average and retests that, might be another entry for a short. So there's your short setup. There's your long setup on Casper. Just wanted to bring those into play. And let's take out one more look here on the oscillator. We are starting to print on the RSI Prime, a red candle. Does look like we have a little bit downside here, but this is not a deep angled ribbon. If it's deep angled, then typically I'm really bearish on it. But this being so flat, this could easily just ride back up like a wave off of that bounce there on the 7.618. OC, what you got for us, bro?
I got data or I have RUNE, whatever you want me to take it. So let's go.
Both. Knock them both out.
Perfect. Let's go with ADA because I did had an analysis yesterday. So from yesterday, let's say that I was expected to go all the way out to the dynamic reactor. It wasn't a reality. So far, we did not get there. We did that little range instead of going all the way up, basically making a bull trap. The important part is that we are above the 0 line, but we're flipping very quickly. And again, that could be worrying. It's also important to note that we could be forming a higher low in this area. If that happens, I wouldn't mind for it to go back down as long as we stay within the green cloud and here. And also, what was I pointing out at this area of support and also have that circle right down here? Not only because it is our last support that we have planted right here on this whole cycle, and then we also have the number one, the strongest, but also because we have a major order block right down there. Let me bring it up. Here we go. We have a high order block, which, by the way, before it was a loud order block, right? We've been leaching a little bit out of it. We also have one important, I believe it's daily. Let's see. 1 day, exactly daily support and resistance. And also if I throw a little bit more in here, you'll see that I also have a predictive range all the way down there. So as you can see, when things start bunching up, it is right down here on this area between the 59 and also the 57. So a possible range will be on play. And again, if I turn everything off, I'll be just waiting for a Wyckoff structure. So having a going down little range V-shaped recovery, high not higher than the previous range, and that gives me 70% chances of ranging. So those are the three possible scenarios. One, higher low, and that will set us up for maybe an up range. Second one will be a straight to the right range, and the third one will be reaching purple lines all the way down here at 52. But it will be defined
OC,
for the flip of the ribbon. Yep, what's
OC,
up?
did you just tell me that ADA is either going to go up, down, or sideways?
Yes. I, yeah, I
Pretty
mean,
good. Pretty
tomorrow
good
I'm going to
prediction
say, I
there.
told you so, guys, right? But yes, exactly, I know. But it will
No,
be defined
it's
by
sitting in a very
by
indecisive. It's sitting in a very
what is it?
indecisive window right now. I'm just messing with you. It's sitting in a very indecisive window right now. I'm just giving you some shit, man.
It's the overall trend, right? A lot of the altcoins we're seeing right now, the overall trend is we're seeing a flip, right? So the overall trend is bullish, but we are now seeing short term, everything is trending now, bearish. So yes, it's that
Absolutely.
moment of like, are we going to see the next like higher low, or are we going to continue this down and right movement? So you're right. It's kind of hard to predict right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and call out that OC guy is going to have the most accurate TA session of this entire show today. That right there.
Absolutely. Or not.
All right. Well, just to keep it a little bit better here, let me give you some areas to react, right? So remember, my key is gonna be the flip of the ribbon. If the ribbon flips down, I'm gonna be aiming for my first entry right down here. If it breaks, my second entry will be here, and I'm gonna be averaging down to the middle, and then setting my stop loss right below this area right here, and going maybe to this golden line or this bottom right here. All right. If it flips up, I'm going to be taking profits right here and entering with the next flip to the ribbon, maybe here, and it will be a short long or a small long to say it best. But yeah,
a small
that
long.
might bring a little bit more accuracy.
What else you got for us, man?
Oh, yeah. RUNE, very quick. Bouncing from the dynamic reactor, going back to the dynamic reactor. This is what I could be expecting out of ADA. If like going back up in here, we haven't seen it, but we have a higher chance. Nonetheless, we also have this area of big support. Let me bring it up. We have our first, let me just turn this one off. Perfect. We have our first area right here, and we have smart money in the middle. So if we get here, I will be expecting a big retracement or a high retracement. If we break down, I will not be expecting this retracement, but I will be expecting a smaller retracement to the dynamic reactor. So yeah, that's what I got on RUNE.
Awesome. Yeah, let's get into TradeFly. What you got for us, man?
All right, cluck. I got your dot here for you. All right, so just like I was saying, the overall trend bullish, but we are pulling back. We are setting a series of lower highs. That's unfortunate, and we're pulling back. Now, the area that I would probably look for initially is the 618, the golden pocket, but like it's just not lining up with a lot for me, which gives me a little bit of concern because this is showing us, hey, this is where this movement started going up and right. This is kind of where we peaked. But I got to be honest with you, I'm looking probably a little bit lower here at about 724, 750, especially when we get the dynamic reactor. As this continues to pull back and right, if it does, then what I would be looking for is the dynamic reactor to kind of, even out a little bit and kind of align more with this area. Now, if we do get some bouncing in this area, then we could see it pull up to the golden pocket. That would make me feel a little bit better. But obviously, you can see on the daily, the prime oscillator looks pretty terrible right now. So not really seeing anything that would show me that we're going to get a nice bounce at all until we actually at least get to where the 100-day moving average is, as well as the golden pocket. You could find some support there. That would probably be if like a scalping trade or an intraday kind of trade. That would be of interest for me. But like overall, like this is kind of what gives me more concern is looking at the 200 SMA on the 4-hour. We're kind of on the bottom side of that. It's actually acting as a resistance now. So you can see like all the moving averages are tipping over. It's kind of the trend that we're seeing, short term. We're pulling back here. Where are we actually going to find support? And I would say it's not as obvious as it normally is, especially like when we're doing some of the initial TA. Like when it pulled up here, it was a lot easier to see that this was going to come back to somewhere in the golden pocket or the platinum pocket here and find some support. So here it's not aligning as much. So that gives me a little bit of pause, but we might see maybe a similar trend. If you just look at it, just take a step back and look, you can see like the overall trend is going up and right. It's just where we're going to find that support when we get on the bottom side. So maybe it just rides this level right here. So maybe that can be interesting area for you at about $8. I think that kind of lined up with what I was seeing on the daily. What I say was about 7 something, right? So maybe here is an area for an entry. That would probably be what I'm looking for at this point, because there's nothing showing me, that there is a reversal of this short-term trend right here that's pulling back on the bottom side of the 200 SMA on the 4-hour as well. So yeah, right now, just I think it's going to continue to pull back. I would look for maybe some support in this area. I think that's probably where I would, settle, is somewhere around there. Let me go back to the daily real quick. Did I take off the? I did. I pulled off the fib just so I could do that. But that does align. Look, see their dynamic reactor. You got the 100-day SMA, and where we say I think the platinum pocket was somewhere around there as well. So yeah, I think that makes sense. That's what I would be looking for. It's probably where I would set the alerts. And then of course, you know the drill. You want to come down to the RSI, make sure that we're seeing a trend up and right, showing a little bit of strength there. Maybe multiple touches there would make you feel a little bit more comfortable. But that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. If we do push up and right, I mean, there's a clear trend here, right? I mean, well, I don't know that I'd call it a trend, but you got multiple touch points on a trend line here, right? So you got a channel. You are having a channel, and this overall is still bullish for now.
Nice.
We get outside this channel, we get under the dynamic reactor on the daily, then we have bigger concerns.
All right, let's jump over to my chart for Bitcoin. Just a little recap here, just to let you guys know where we are overall in the big picture. This is my weekly chart on Bitcoin right now. Looking at the Eric Wallen chart here, guys. We are currently we have broken below our golden pocket on this candle, so we're moving down there right now. But if I put a couple of things on here, I want to show you a couple of things that I'm seeing. One, we got this long-running trend line here that goes all the way back to 13 June 2022. And you can see that it was a support for the bottom. We broke below it, and then it was resistance for us. It was resistance again right here, perfectly on the touch, and we had resistance here on it. So this trend line of price action is definitely playing out against us right now. But it might be playing out as support for us here at around $57,000 to $58,000 right here on this trend line for a test of support. And then if we also look at the alternate fib setup that I have here. Let me find it. It is called alt scenario. There it is. That is going to be coming in right there about the same spot, guys, as what we have on this fib structure. This is my 3-phase fib structure. It's going back to the all-time high here, candle close, to the bottom of the bear market, candle close, and then their fibs running up. We have the 887 coming in at $56,000 right in confluence with that trend line. So I got to say, guys, we could be heading to 56K on Bitcoin right now, looking at what I'm seeing here based on this. But as of right now, guys, overall, I mean, look, we're still way up. As long as we hold in this platinum pocket range, I feel we could go all the way down to $48,000 and still be a bullish structure based on what I'm seeing on this chart. So let's go back over to TriCam. Let's talk this out. Let's head off screen. Guys, thoughts on that? I know that's a bearish scenario. Someone comes out going $49,000 Bitcoin, but it's still a bullish structure on the trend side. So
where does that put us, though? What have I been talking about for weeks? OC knows. There's liquidity sitting at 50,500.
Oh, yeah.
There's
yeah, there is.
Multi-billions.
There's on the liquidation chart. Yes, there is. Absolutely.
That's where your
So,
boy's
guys,
got a buy order. I'm ready.
This is why we keep dry powder on the side, guys. OC TradeFly, what you got for the people on the way out? It's Friday, man.
It is Friday, and I got something very, very, very special. I want to say happy birthday to Luke, Lunar Beach's crypto's little guy. It's his birthday. Shout out. Let's see if I can get these things to work. I don't know. I'm going to try to get something in here. Maybe. I don't know. Come on. No emojis.
Happy birthday, Luke.
All right. Everyone else has got me. Hey, Luke,
Yeah, that's
happy
my
birthday,
alumni.
brother.
You know what I
Enjoy it.
mean?
Let's get it.
All right, OC, what you got for the people, man?
So, guys, thanks so much for joining today. Just remember to click that like button, because if you do, your beer in the fridge will get much, much colder, maybe -5 degrees. Don't believe me? Try it out yourself. So go click that like button.
Going right now.
And also try and invite to you, Piper. What is it?
Awesome. He just hit the like button.
Smashing the like,
guys,
bro.
thanks for joining us today. Thanks for joining us today on Piper Academy, guys. It's Friday. Relax this weekend. Enjoy. Don't look at the charts all weekend. Do your thing. We will be back here next Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. We appreciate you all being here. Have a great weekend. I'm about to go hit the beach. We'll catch you next time, guys. Trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. TradeFly, get the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, Crux Crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have, step fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. Sound off.
To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.